What's up, y'all? We're still here. We survived.
Back again after the holiday interregnum.
Welcome to the breakdown.
How
Here
was
we
everybody's
are.
Thanksgiving?
High adequate. I made duck.
Oh. I like that both of our reaction to that was, oh, I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
It is a thing you can do, and it was damn delicious. I made duck with a wild boar sage stuffing. Duck. What else do we make? The usuals.
I think when you do boar and duck, you don't have to do anything else. I think
you really. And by the way, the next day, take that stuffing, fry it in a pan with a little bit of butter, and put an egg in the middle of it, like egg in a frame. Holy crap, that was magical.
I am taking notes, and I'm going to redo my Thanksgiving plans for next year.
Y'all come on down.
Yeah.
I got a big place.
I love the food on Thanksgiving, but I think the thing that I look forward to the most about going home is like getting back to New York and walking into a proper deli and looking someone in the face and saying, bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, one word.
Yes. Yes. That is the correct order of those words and the correct placement. Yes.
Yeah.
I was in New York for Thanksgiving visiting my daughter and friends, and it was freezing cold, and everyone was excited about going to the parade. I had VIP tickets that I could have used to go, and I was like, Black people don't go to parades. Like, I just feel like that's a thing we don't do.
I don't go to I've never understood going to the Thanksgiving Day parade unless you live in a gorgeous apartment like on Central Park West and you're watching it from there. Like, it's on TV. Just watch it on TV.
It's on TV as God intended.
Where it's warm. Where I think that most primarily, I do not want to be in the freezing.
Yeah, you don't strike me as a person with a high cold tolerance. I am not either.
Yeah, I would annoy everyone. Yeah, I would just be bitching.
I'm a Florida man. I will whine about the cold weather in a hot second. We got in the car the other night. It was like 65 outside, and I'm like, heated seats.
I was like, I'm a Florida man at heart, you see.
Well,
all right,
what do we got to start with? Is it Captain War Crimes?
It is. So tonight, some things to look forward to. We will be going into Pete Hegseth's latest war crimes, the tragic shooting in DC of the National Guard troops, Trump's ever declining health on many fronts, and his
perfect MRI, Kate. It's the perfect. No one's ever had a better MRI.
And his war on affordability, but like not in the way that you think, like not in the way that like Zoran Mamdani is like doing the war on affordability,
right.
Like he hates when things are affordable and he hates when you say that they're not. So with all that, let's get started with Pete Hegseth. So let's see.
Sec drunk.
So the Washington Post published a report accusing him of ordering what appears to be a clear war crime in the Caribbean. According to 7 sources familiar with the Trump administration's first September attack on a boat it claimed was smuggling drugs, Hegseth told SEAL Team 6 to, quote, kill everybody on board, prompting the commander to order a second strike when he saw 2 survivors clinging to the wreckage. The GOP-led House and Senate Armed Services Committees now say they will investigate vigorously, and the families of the victims are seeking murder charges and a human rights investigation. So, talk to us about war crimes.
So, there is a very clear set of both the laws of war, American law, international treaty law, and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which governs that's military law. Once a combatant, if you even assess these people as combatants, which they do, but on a very frail legal basis, once they are no longer combat effective, injured, wounded, their vehicle blown up, you may not attack them again. You must not attack them again. In fact, you must attempt to rescue them. You must try to help them. Those are the rules. These are not isolated cases. Literally, in the Uniform Code of Military Justice manual, there is an example. May you shoot people whose boat has sunk and they're clinging to the wreckage? The answer is no, you may not. Now, Hegseth is disputing that he ordered the second strike and the kill them all thing. The Post is standing by the story. But I have to say, what I think is really quite disturbing here is that there's been very little outrage in most of the media about this, but there has been a large number of actually Republican senators who are like, oh, this ain't it, boss. No. So it's fascinating to me that Hegseth is basically like, yeah, it's just a little war crime between friends. No big deal. Never mind that we're still going to try to invade Venezuela or drive Maduro out with bombing raids in Venezuela. This is a really thin war. And I've argued for some thin wars in the past, but this is a really thin war. This is not really grounded on anything more than trust us, bro. It's terrorists.
Well, this is the thing. Pete Hegseth was the maximum lethality guy. Remember, I can't remember which speech it was, but this
Fort
military,
Belvoir, Virginia, to the
in that speech,
all the 4-star generals and all the general officers and flag officers they could squeeze in that room.
Yeah, so to try to back away from this activity right now, I think we're in the age of receipts. We're in the age of the internet. And so
you're not going to get away with the bullshit saying, oh, I never said that. What do you mean? Because he said it.
He said it. On top of the fact that he said it, they're doing it over and over and over again.
Correct.
And it's part of it. I'm reading Legacy of Violence, Elkin's book. She's a professor out of Harvard. And this idea that people from other countries that they perceive to be lesser than was a strategy from the British Empire. And so seeing them act this out now, that's why there's not the outrage, because they're trying to make it as if these people do not matter, and they're watching and waiting to see the American public to see if we're going to speak up and say, actually, yeah, they matter. And so as we see these families say, hey, we want justice, it's really on us as American citizens to say, hey, this is a thing that we don't do, because as we're losing our moral ground, our moral standing in the world, we're starting to look pretty fucking evil, and we're doing it to other countries, but we're also doing it to our own people.
And the real question is, what would the response be by Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump and anyone else if, let's say, a Chinese drone attacked American troops who were floating on wreckage of a boat that was sunk? What would they do? They would absolutely escalate. They would declare even greater hostilities. They would lose their damn minds. This, to me, is a real telling moment. And there's a reason why things like the Geneva Conventions that we're a signatory to, just to remind everybody, matter, because they set an international standard where you just don't get to wake up in the morning and say, hey, you know what? Kill them all. There are still laws and rules in warfare. You know, the people who don't obey the rules in warfare, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and us. I don't think that's a great club to be in, just to be perfectly honest.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out how they're sleeping at night in this post obeying any kind of rules world, because
they're fine. These people have no ethical boundary at all. They just don't care about anything.
But we are seeing people walk away. So who's the admiral that decided, who allowed himself to be pushed out or resigned because he was unwilling to follow through on these unlawful orders?
Yeah, it is. Look, I think we're in a moment where we really, as a country, we repose enormous power in our military. And that enormous power has always been tempered by law. And Pete Hegseth is a guy who's like, I don't want lawyers around. I don't want the general counsel in the room. I don't want the inspector general in the room. I don't want anybody who would say no to me.
I don't want real reporters in the room. I mean,
that goes without saying with this nugget, because the people that he's got at the Pentagon now, they are almost hilariously sycophantic. They are so beyond the valley of suck up that it is. I find it to be like, no one said to Pete Hegseth, "Yeah, well, okay, boss, this is too much even for us. Come on, man. We're embarrassed. You're embarrassing yourself by having people, and they're like, I listened to the Secretary of Defense, and he told me everything's fine, so everything's fine.
Well,
Is that how it works now?
And there are the guardrails that everybody who said, "Oh, we're not worried because this Trump administration is just going to be more of the same." I think this is the time where y'all need to go back to those friends and family. I don't know if those are the kind of conversations you had at Thanksgiving, but ask them, "Hey, is this what you expected? Did you expect us to be war criming left and right? Because this is what happens when you
really, if you were expecting war criming, you're getting it."
Yeah. Oh yeah, a ton of it.
So my last question for you guys to wrap up on this subject. So now that even GOP congressmen like Don Bacon and senators and whatever, they're calling for an investigation into this, will Pete Hegseth or anyone else see consequences for what will probably be concluded as a war crime?
Look, Hegseth may get fired. There's a real chance he gets fired. But it's not just because of the war criming. It's because he's just embarrassing overall. And Trump is not quite there yet, but we're almost at that point where he gets back into what I call firing Fridays, where to change the subject, somebody gets the axe every week.
But if Hegseth gets the axe, who's up next? Like who?
A guy named Dan Driscoll, who is the current Secretary of the Army, who is not. He's not Pete Hegseth. He's not a great human being, but he's also not a lout and a drunkard and a guy who has abused women and who lives in a weird fantasy world of I'm a war fighter. I'm the war fighter. He's not that. And look, Hegseth he's uniquely kind of dangerous in part because he's a product of and knows how to use the MAGA media ecosystem to cover his war criming. But he hasn't got, I don't think he's got a really meaningful chance of staying on in the long haul because he has become embarrassing. It's like Kash Patel. Kash Patel is now embarrassing to Trump.
I don't like the dude and I feel bad for him. That's how embarrassing.
Like the cringe level of Kash Patel, I've never seen anything like it. And I was around government a long time and I knew a few people who were kind of embarrassing assholes. But Kash Patel, I mean, I'm just going to say this, folks. I almost feel bad for the Trump administration having Kash Patel in that job. It's like, you guys are not making it easy for yourself.
But also the morale. Like, can we talk about this?
The FBI guys are absolutely beside themselves they're humiliated by Kash Patel.
But in the military too, I'm thinking like people seeing other military members get thrown under the bus, recognizing, oh shit, I might be following orders that I might have to answer for.
If you were a currently serving combat commander in the military, like you run Southcom or Joint Special Operations Committee or any other number of places, and you don't look up every day and go, oh, is today the day they throw me under that big fat bus? You better, because they will. They're absolutely the worst kind of hypocrites about the military. Oh, we love the troops. We love the troops. But until our narrative gets in the way, then we don't love the troops quite as much. Then the troops are sort of an inconvenience to us.
So speaking of the troops, we do have to talk about the shooting in DC that happened just before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So a 29-year-old Afghan national who arrived in the U.S. after the 2021 Taliban takeover ambushed 2 West Virginia National Guard members deployed to DC under Trump.
Yeah.
20-year-old specialist Sarah Beckstrom died the next day,
Yep. and
24-year-old Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition, I believe.
Yep.
The shooter, who's now in custody, had spent 10 years fighting the Taliban with the CIA-backed Zero Unit, was heavily vetted, and had his asylum approved earlier this year by the Trump administration. In a post on Truth Social, Trump vowed to halt migration from, quote, third world countries, which he's been saying a lot lately, reverse illegal Biden-era admissions, denaturalize migrants who seem disloyal, and deport anyone he deems incompatible with Western civilization.
Donald Trump, the great expert on Western civilization.
Right. The administration has already ended asylum for Afghans, revoked protections for 2021 evacuees, and begun reviewing green cards from 19 different countries. DHS tweeted out remigration now. Let me see. I think I've got that right here.
I will say this. Let's recall who wanted to get a Nobel Peace Prize for ending the Afghan war. That was Donald Trump during his first administration. They blame Biden for this incorrectly, and they act like making a deal with the Taliban, which is they proposed, and rushing the process so that when Biden took office, it felt like a very rushed sort of idea. It's a bad look. Now, these people have no shame and no humility, and they would never admit that they were wrong or had done anything wrong. But Donald Trump has a lot to do with this guy. There's some reporting this week that he may have been blackmailed or extorted by the Taliban to carry this very heinous, horrifying attack out. I don't think we know the answer on that yet, but this is not an uncomplicated story, but it's also a story that we should prepare for additional consequences of Trump's insistence. And remember, the reason he was rushing it when he was president the first time was so he could get a Nobel Peace Prize. Don't ever lose sight of the mendacity and the hypocrisy of these assholes, because they specialize in both.
Yeah, well, he's renamed the Institute of Peace, I believe, after himself.
The Donald Trump, extremely handsome president, Institute of Peace. Thank you very much for your attention to this matter.
After myself. We talked about this before, but it seems like if one Afghan or one Black person or one trans person does something, Donald Trump will seize on that to
Johnny on the spot
and just literally punish everyone who fits.
The guy springs into action when it's somebody that happens to be from one of the, quote, undesirable type of classes of people.
Maya, to that point, would you mind reading this? I'm so sorry. I keep taking your spot.
I like being up there, though. It's fun.
This Stephen Miller tweet for everyone, which he posted after the incident.
This is the great lie of mass migration. You are not just importing individuals, you are importing societies, which is fucking insane. No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. He puts so much time into this. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands. First of all, the people that were here were vetted. This guy was vetted. He was a CIA asset. He was vetted.
He fought against the Taliban. Why this happened, we don't know. But this guy fought against the Taliban. I don't know. Call me crazy, but knowing what the Taliban does to people who fight against them and their families, I still do not feel like I've seen a full and comprehensive explanation of his actions. It's real hard to find an excuse for it. But on the other hand, it's like the Trump administration vetted this guy and they let him in the country. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else to say. It's like they can't seem to find any way to admit ever that they did something that had a bad consequence. If this guy was improperly vetted, we'll never know, because these people do not let anything out of the maw of their government. They cover up everything. We've seen it repeatedly. I find this whole thing There's something to this story that I haven't figured out yet.
Well, here's the thing. Why would they want to properly vet people when they're looking for an excuse to demonize populations that they want to deport? It's in their best interest to not vet anyone. It's in their best
that is
interest.
that. You know what, Maya? That's a really good point. It is definitely in their DNA politically and in their agenda. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, folks, as you well know. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but why would you admit somebody like this if you even had the slightest inclination of a suspicion that he wasn't on the up and up? Why would you do that?
And also, why wouldn't you be tracking them? They're tracking everyone else. They're tracking American citizens right now, following license plates left and right. This guy has made several long distance trips that were erratic. His family members, people were concerned. He was saying he was becoming more and more erratic, and they didn't have, they weren't tracking him. They weren't following him.
They track every Mexican housemaid in the country, apparently.
Yeah.
They track every roofer. They track every guy who works in lawn care.
Yeah.
They're using Palantir to track both American citizens and people who are here under immigration statuses of various kinds. And I'm just curious why they didn't jump this one right away.
Yeah.
And look, we may find out the guy snapped, that he was crazy. That could be one of the explanations.
But he's been snapping. That's the thing. That's on record. That
right.
He's been snapping.
We may find out that this guy was a bad guy all along and got through the vetting somehow. We may find out that the Taliban blackmailed him and said they'd kill his family if he didn't carry this out. But Stephen Miller's sweeping sort of all those brown people, they're all bad eggs. It just always strikes me that when Stephen Miller says something, you should put a giant grain of salt front and center and you're thinking about what it means. And this whole thing stinks on ice. I don't know what the answer is, but it sure doesn't feel normal to me.
Well, and with this tweet, they're telegraphing what they are trying to do. This is them again trying to shape the narrative. This is the disinformation guy. This is the propagandist who wants people to start turning to each other and remember, oh yeah, we're under invasion. And oh yeah, they're trying to, no. And again, a distraction from the fact that things aren't affordable, a distraction from the fact that they put like a 21-year-old in charge of counterterrorism.
Yes, the guy who is in charge of it. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but his official portrait, his photograph in his official job at DHS, he's got this arched eyebrow.
Yeah, he's doing this thing.
Like he's it's hello,
Thomas
ladies.
Fugate, that's his name.
What's his name?
Thomas Fugate.
Fugazi, more like. But
guys, we pay taxes to state. This is where everybody, I don't care what party you're a part of, you need to demand accountability for the tax dollars that are intended to keep us safe. If Republicans really cared about keeping Americans safe, they'd say, hey, well, if billions of dollars are going to all of these agencies now, and we have the tech, why aren't our people safe? Why is this happening on Trump's watch?
I want to know why Palantir isn't tracking Stephen Miller and the chain of dead hookers all around DC. That's just a question I've asked myself many times.
Somebody would have to be assigned to that, and no one wants to do that. Nobody wants to follow that man that closely.
Man, that's going to be a podcast series for the ages.
That'll be
Stephen Miller would light up the room, mostly with a flamethrower in order to kill the brown people.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, moving on, because this has been a really dark opening to this episode.
God, it has. Dark as shit.
Coming back from Thanksgiving to this, let's move into something that I think everyone here is going to have a lot more fun with, and that is Trump's declining health. So,
Daddy's not doing well.
He's not doing well at all. So, adding to an ever-increasing pattern of visible decline, Donald Trump once again visibly dozed off in his cabinet meeting this week.
Trump sleep tracker on that guy.
Yeah, well, our social director has been tracking every time he shows up with a bruise. So he was once again spotted concealing bruising on his right hand, this time with bandages instead of makeup. Which has been happening consistently at monthly interviews. Additionally, Trump was questioned this week about the reason for his most recent MRI. When asked what the MRI was looking at, he said, "I'm not sure, definitely not the brain." So in other words, definitely
the brain.
Definitely the brain.
Worth noting here, a Twitter user pointed out that the drug to treat Alzheimer's, Leqembi, I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, is given by infusion and requires regular MRIs of the head due to the potential brain bleed as a side effect. So
does it also make him sleepy? Is sleepiness a side effect? Maybe that's why.
Before we really rip into this, I'm going to play the montage of him sleeping in the cabinet meeting.
Please.
I just want everyone to know, I cut this down to a minute for the sake of time. This could have gone on for 10. So if you think that these clips are cherry picked to 15 seconds where he closed his eyes, they were much longer.
President Trump's trade agenda was the right trade agenda. Then we go to Japan and Korea. They offer us $750 billion in cash.
Members, but the opportunity to do that under these new trade deals is unprecedented. And so just putting farmers first.
Coming from both Islamist ideology as well as Islamist terrorists, foreign terrorist organizations, and those who seek to do harm to the American people, many of whom were let in across our borders.
And closely following the law, as well as key Supreme Court decisions like Loper Bright to overturn the Chevron doctrine. We inherited massive backlash
for most of their procedures, for all the procedures we want them removed from. And that means that American patients at the point of care will be able to get an answer immediately if your doctor says you need
a global coalition of countries that line up behind the peace deal, behind the border peace, and it's still every day is a challenge.
So
Red Bull has the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Seriously.
The funniest thing.
A Celsius, anything.
Right.
What's going on with Donald Trump, guys? What is that? What is the bruising? What is the public napping? And this is not the first incident. He's been napping during a lot of cabinet meetings. He's been napping at any panel they sit him on where he's not really directly engaged. And pretty much unless he's speaking with the press directly, he's dozing off. So what's that about?
Dementia, old age, drug interactions. There's a whole universe of things it could be. But I think the answer, guys, it's Occam's razor. Donald Trump is not well. Donald Trump is dying. Donald Trump is old and sick and falling apart in front of us. And no one cares enough around that White House to say, you know what, boss? We should probably get you some real professional medical treatment.
At some point, they're going to slip mittens on him to keep him from messing with his library. But
we're going to find this guy wandering around the White House lawn at some point real soon, folks.
Well,
it is
the fact that people are that's what's so embarrassing is watching these people in there. If you're in a meeting and your boss is falling asleep and it's a televised meeting and you're not willing to say something, where is your dignity, man? That's embarrassing.
Oh, listen. If you work for the Trump administration, dignity is in your rearview mirror by a long way.
This is true. But what's funny though is they either, because you watch their faces, I don't see in their faces that they're not acknowledging it. It's almost like they're so used to him falling asleep that they just don't pay attention anymore. They're just yeah, we're just doing this without him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of true though. I think they kind of have to fake it around daddy. You can't wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to go into this cabinet meeting. I'm going to behave like everything is perfectly normal. Because it clearly is not in any way normal. And it is so far off normal, it's kind of ridiculous at this point.
And it's all over social media, but I'm not really seeing it on CNN or CBS or ABC.
Weirdly, I was told by CNN that a president who's showing signs of aging is the number one issue, and we have to cover the shit out of it.
Nonstop, 24/7.
24/7, nonstop. It has to be the only real story.
I am
call me a jaded cynic, but I don't think they're applying the same standard. It's weird.
It is weird.
And by weird, I mean completely fucking unsurprising.
And I get it. Like, it's unprecedented that you would have a president who falls asleep constantly while he's supposed to be doing his job. Like, they couldn't figure out how to schedule it at a time where he is awake, or that somebody, like, because Diet Coke has caffeine in it. Like, something can
it
counteract
does.
the effect of these drugs,
Trust
right?
me on that one. I am a pro at knowing that one.
Yeah. So I asked, like, are they just trolling us? Because, other countries are watching, and this makes us look incredibly weak. And so, again, this goes to, they are signaling that, hey, we're not paying attention. We don't care. We're not safe. And that makes us less safe.
I think that's a really important point, Maya, is that these members of this cabinet all, once again, and I know this sounds old-fashioned, they all swear an oath to the Constitution. They all say they're going to uphold the Constitution. Part of their obligation under the Constitution is to invoke Article 25 if the president is incapable of serving. He is quite obviously incapable of serving in this office. He is a very old, very tired, very sick man. And it borders, frankly, on elder abuse at this point, given how much how much we're watching the decline in front of our eyes. It's not a subtle decline anymore. It's not like maybe Trump's lost a step. He's out of the race. It's over. And we're going to watch him fall. We're going to watch him die. And people are going to say, all these people in the White House are going to go, oh, well, I knew all along. I understood what was happening.
Yeah, I was like, the books that are being written right now.
Oh, it's going to be hideous.
I just wish we still had like an Omarosa in the White House secretly recording things, because she did a ton of that and then just kind of disappeared once. I don't know
where Omarosa is or what she does now, but
hides, I guess.
I suppose.
But I'm hoping if you hear me, anyone in the White House with a recording device, please get us those clips. I need to know what's happening.
No question. And I don't think I don't think we're ever going to get straight answers until he actually kicks over. And everybody needs to remember, what you're watching is a White House that's involved in two of the largest cover-ups in history: Epstein files and Trump's health.
I was gonna say yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. Those two things.
We're in a lull right now of coverage on Epstein files. It's going to come back, of course.
Oh yeah,
because the deadline is looming. I believe we're only like 20 days out now, and so
that is correct.
So they can only distract us for so long, and who knows where his health will be at that point. And is he going on tour? He's talking about.
So I did a live today on Substack about our YouTube. Put it on Substack tonight. I did a live on this today, and Donald Trump saying he's going to do a national tour to tell people how affordable everything is the funniest thing ever. Donald Trump can barely walk to Marine One. Donald Trump can barely play 9 holes of golf anymore. Donald Trump is not healthy. He is a frail, fragile old man. The thought of Donald Trump doing a national tour to convince Americans how great the economy is, to me, is hilarious on two fronts. The first is that he thinks he can convince Americans that the economy is doing great, because the economy, by no standard, is doing great, except the one in his head. And him being out there campaigning on the economy, I mean, physically, I don't think he can do it. And I don't think he can make the case politically that he once could have made, because people don't believe him anymore. They stopped believing him. When they stop believing you as president, you lost an essential part of your power. You've lost a main part of the superpower of being president. Once they stop believing you can fix the problem that you caused, or believe you're the cause of the problem that they don't like, and the polls are now telling us that they're blaming Trump. They're saying he's the one who caused this. He's the one who has caused the trade war to happen, and therefore I lost my job, or I lost this, or I lost that. I
And
mean,
it's not coming back.
it's astounding.
Yeah. And if things are going so bad that like because this man loves a rally. He loves nothing more than to be out in front of his adoring
I don't think he can do it anymore.
And there aren't any more adoring fans. And they know that. And so it reminds me of an Old School, which is one of my favorite movies, where he's
I
like,
love Old School. Don't even
oh,
play.
no, it's freaking. Everyone's going, and he's just running naked.
Right. Right. You're my boy, Blue.
And that's Trump right now. He's like, I'm going out there, and everyone around him is like, what are you fucking talking about, man? Like, there's no tour. And what's funny is the whole.
We've probably seen the last of the double Trump hand job dance.
Thank fucking God.
Before the big crowds.
Well, and
middle out Silicon Valley joke.
But he keeps going back because affordability. He was like, there's this word affordability, and then he's calling it off.
Let's play that clip.
Yeah. Let's here we go.
The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you and they say, affordability. Affordability, affordability, affordability. The word affordability is a Democrat scam.
Okay, so we went from I'm going to bring down grocery prices on day one to, you need to buy fewer dolls to what? Affordability? That's not what? This timeline that he is trying to take people on in the age of receipts, in the age of the internet. Like, we're not dumb, or like the other word that we'll get to that in the lightning round. And it is just fucking insane that he thinks people are this stupid, this gullible. We're over it. People want him gone. I don't see this administration having enough legs to make it through all of 2026. I kid you not. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I don't think they're going to make it.
I got to tell you, I think Donald Trump, his physical maladies, his physical problems are probably the number one topic of conversation inside the White House that we don't hear about. I think they're all whistling past the proverbial graveyard, saying to themselves, well, you know what, if he can hold out for a few more months and we'll put him on a light schedule, and we'll make sure he doesn't have to eat anything with any sort of texture. You know, we can just feed the guy oatmeal every day. I think they're thinking that is how they're going to save him and to save themselves. I don't think that's going to work, though. I don't think that is an effective strategy. I don't think Donald Trump is going to cooperate with that, because Donald Trump, let's be real, folks, he's a stubborn dipshit. He will fight to the death to hold on to the presidency. And it will never get easier for the crazy people, or for the sane people, to fight back against the crazy people. When they're going to start going to Trump, Stephen Miller will go to Trump. They're trying to fire you, sir. They're trying to get rid of you, sir. What are we going to do, sir? And, Trump still has a certain degree of power amongst the lunatics that is not going to go away immediately.
Well, and he's so easily manipulated that whatever these conversations are happening, that everybody is making their play to.
I love you more, Donald. No, I love you more, Donald.
Yeah, and in no way, shape, or form are they taking any actions that are actually helping the American people. So if you ask your MAGA friends and family, like, how is your life better specifically? Sure, if they've got a 401k that's well invested, sure, that's
show receipts.
But everything is more expensive. Housing is not coming down. Like, nothing is better. And going into this holiday season, a holiday is stressful enough as it is for people.
Sure.
And right now, there are families that are scrambling to figure out how to take care of their kids when they're off a break, because they're not going to be in school. So they're going to be figuring out childcare, which is expensive. The healthcare subsidies going away, so that's more expensive. Trying to figure out how to buy even one doll, let alone the $20.
Famous presidential $20. Yeah.
So it's just like
Johnny Two Dolls is his mob name.
None of this is sustainable, not even a little bit, and it's pissing people off. And I look forward to the rage that is going to increase, in particular from his base, the people who feel betrayed.
But, you know,
Because-
as I mentioned earlier, there's now polling starting to emerge where Trump supporters are saying, yeah, he did this to us.
Mhm.
He did this to us.
Yeah, the
Let me tell
political.
you, if you're Donald Trump, you've been accustomed for the last decade to never being told that you're wrong. You've been told for the last decade, everybody loves you. You are perfect. Don't change a thing. And he's learning now that moment is over. That is past now in our society. He doesn't have the magical superpower where 99.99% of the Republican base says it's Trump or nothing.
Well, and I can tell you, I've been in the last few weeks, I've been in Nevada, I've been in Jersey, I've been in New York. I used to see MAGA stuff all the time, especially in Nevada. I saw a single MAGA hat in a grocery store on a
Right.
Latino gentleman, and that was a tough one for me. I was like,
You're
sure,
like,
sure.
do you know what that means?
But this, I think, like the proud supporters are no longer.
Those days are in the rearview mirror. And again, it's not even that a majority of Republicans are blaming Trump for the economy. It's that a plurality of them are. And this is the first time we've seen that sort of break in the MAGA world, in that, and the combination, I think, of three weird big things have really hurt him. Yes, Epstein has hurt him tremendously. That's the understory to this whole thing. That's the driver underneath a lot of this. They also are really unhappy about the economy, about the trade war, because you can't spin them. You can't say the economy's great when they're paying $75 for a bag of groceries. It doesn't work. It just does not work anymore.
I'm like, $75, that's just bread and eggs. Like, I was
Yeah,
like, that's
right?
not even a bag of groceries. Like,
As my mom used to say, she goes, for $50, I used to be able to fill the back of the station wagon.
yeah,
But
not anymore.
the third thing that has really bothered them, and I think the symbolic part of it that bothers them is the ballroom, the tearing down the East Wing. And not because they tore down the East Wing, it bothers them because it's corrupt. And it bothers them because in a time when they're suffering so much, all he can think to do is build a fucking ballroom. I mean, I wrote a piece about this the other day. It's like, there's like a French Revolution vibe in the air. And I'm going to go long on like tumbrils and pitchforks at this point.
Yes. yes to that, because and I feel bad for the people who are still clinging on to the hope that somehow he's going, because remember he ran on the whole, like, they're after you, I'm
just standing in your way,
I'm your retribution. And people really believed that. They really felt that. And so the deep betrayal is that's why the rage is next, because they're in the stages of grief. Like, I think they went through bargaining, right?
Right.
There's this kind of like the anger before we're not getting to acceptance. We're not getting to acceptance until he's dead.
I think one of the problems, Maya, that we're having right now for these folks is an awful lot of them have this long running emotional attachment to Trump, where part of what made them feel so good about Trump was he was the enemy of their enemy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who was going to tell those liberal elites and those billionaires who were ripping them off, he was going to put them in their place. He was going to fix it. And now they feel like he doesn't give a shit about them.
Because he doesn't.
They are correct in that he doesn't give a shit about them. But it took a long time to get there. It took a long time to have that beat where they're like, oh God, those never Trump assholes are right. He really is ripping us off. He really is stealing from us. He really is treating the Elon Musks, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerbergs of the world with a new ballroom, and we're getting shit.
Yeah, because remember when he hated big tech? Remember
Believe me, I remember we were gonna destroy TikTok, and now, as long as his friend Jeff Yass wants to buy it, that's fine.
Well, I think that is a wonderful place to leave it before we begin the lightning round.
Dun, dun, dun.
So really in reference to all of that, Tennessee had a special election this week in their 7th district. Republican Matt Van Epps defeated Democratic Nashville area state rep Afton Bain. Thank you. In the special. Although she didn't win, she came in within 10 points in a Trump plus 22 district. So
no, it's Trump plus 27, Republican plus 22.
Oh.
This should have been a wipeout.
Yeah.
This should have been a complete blowout. And I can tell you, I talked to a Republican pollster today who does work in the House and Senate races and governor's races, who I've known for a long time, who was pretty candid. He goes, yeah, we can't afford many more wins like that. Because it cost them like $10 million to pull out a seat that should have been a sleeper. It cost them $10 million to win a seat that should have been an easy lift. And it tells you a lot.
Also the effect that Democrats are like, oh yeah, like we've got a little bit of wind in our sails now. And they counted fascists. They counted on the fact that we were already going to give up. We were already going to be like, this is how we live now. And no, how we live now is fighting back. And
correct.
And
if you take the fight to them, look, guys, Lincoln Project is doing two big driving things in the year of our Lord 2026. First off, we're doing a program called 26 and 26. We're going to go after 26 House races, maybe a couple Senate races in there, but that's a different. We'll get to that. We don't want to win. The D Trip's like, we can win 5 or 6 seats. Fuck that. These people are on the ropes. These people are in trouble. They're this high in the shit. We want to go out and blow them out. We want to go out and blow the doors off. We want to go into these districts and help beat them everywhere. And it starts with helping people get to know these folks in the early going, and then going into these districts and deploying the kind of work the Lincoln Project is really good at to win over independents, to win over moderates, to win over moderate Republicans, to win over independent and soft Republicans, because those folks are the ones who are breaking off of Trump right now. And we can tell them in these swing districts, hey, these people have been hurting you. It's time for a change. We think we can help pick up a lot of those seats this year. The other thing we're going to do this year, it's really important. We're going to engage back in what we call narrative engineering. It's something we did a lot in 2020. And that is the psychological warfare we wage on Donald Trump. That's when we put the billboard truck in front of Mar-a-Lago. That's when we put the billboards in Times Square. That's when we've got the skywriters chasing him around. That's when we've got the ads that are going just to Trump's phone to fuck with him, to make him crazy, to make him do more crazy stuff. That element, we call it narrative engineering for politeness. It's called fuckery. We're going to have the fuckery machine turned back on to 11 in the year 2026. I have talked to our team about this. Everybody is super excited about getting right into the fuckery fight. Now, look, we got to do a lot of work on this blocking and tackling for the 26 candidates, but there's going to be a ongoing drumbeat of getting in Trump's head again, breaking his brain, flipping him out, making him throw things at the wall, making him throw the ketchup at the gold gradu he's put on there from Temu in the Oval Office. Because I can tell you one superpower I have. I can irritate the living shit out of that man. And the more irritated and the more crazy and the more unhinged he gets, the better off we all are. It's harder now for Republicans to say, yeah, I can put up with Trump being an insane asshole because the economy's so great. It's not. It's terrible. That is a superpower that we're going to bring into this fight in 2026. And like I said, I talked to the team the other day about this, and everybody on this team is like, yes, this is the way. Burn it down. So we're going to have a lot of fun this year. We're glad y'all are all along for that ride.
And rest up for it too, because I swear, I'm like, okay, we got to pace ourselves in 2026, y'all.
Right.
Oh, girl, that was a bit of a departure from the lightning round, but
I know.
I didn't want to stop you. because I'm amped. I'm also super amped about this Sabrina Carpenter tweet.
Yes.
So DHS or like ICE posted another horrible video and they used her song Juno.
Uh-huh.
And she responded with this tweet, which is, as we speak, sitting at 1.6 million likes. Those are like Ellen Oscar selfie numbers. Like,
Correct.
that's crazy.
Those are simpler days.
I actually have, they're like just incapable of not being cringe.
Right.
The White House replied back to her and said, for any of my Sabrina Carpenter fans in the chat, you might get these references. Here's a short and sweet message for Sabrina. We won't apologize for deporting dangerous, criminal, illegal murderers, rapists, and pedophiles from our country. Anyone who would defend these sick monsters must be stupid, or is it slow?
Which song is this from? Which Sabrina Carpenter?
Man-Child.
It's a deep cut for Sabrina Carpenter fans.
It's the lead single on the album.
Let me tell you something. Sabrina Carpenter's cultural juice is infinitely higher than a billion Caroline Levitts will ever be, and infinitely higher than what this White House can crack back on her with.
I love her.
I don't think this is a battle they're gonna enjoy.
So
time for a diss track, Sabrina.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Reach out if you want to collab.
Yeah, we'll work.
My DMs are open, Sabrina Carpenter. I'm happy to work on a collab.
I reiterate.
So, the other big story on Twitter this week was Turning Point making a culture war out of this 20-year-old OU student who I will reserve my comments about as a Texas Longhorn, but need I say more than OU student, who received a 0 on an essay that she wrote. Her instructor, who I believe was a trans woman, has been placed on leave after the student complained that she received a failing grade on a paper that cited the Bible to assert that the belief in multiple genders was demonic. If you read this paper and if you read...
Oh, I did.
Yeah, and if you read what her professor wrote back, it's basically the paper was written horribly and she quotes the Bible. The Bible is not quoted once. Like if you ride for the Bible like that, like
it's like as the Bible says, and then she makes assertions that are not in any biblical form whatsoever.
Oh,
and I'm just gonna I listen. I am it's been a long time since divinity class, I will tell you. But I went in the biblical rabbit hole on this one. I'm sorry, girl. You're just making that shit up.
Maya,
oh no, I'm just like, I didn't know that someone would try to fake quote the Bible. Like there's copies of it everywhere. Like you can actually read through it.
She did not even, it wasn't that she misquoted. It was that there were no quotation marks.
Right. There were no citations of the Bible. She just said, as the Bible says, blah, 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 blah.
She says, I believe, which they teach you. I remember specifically.
Yeah, I believe the children are the future, but like.
I remember in 5th grade in my ELA, English Language Arts class, our teacher like telling us, if you use the word I in an essay, I will kill you. Your opinion doesn't matter. Tell me what is the truth. So that was crazy. And of course, she's already being churned through the sort of Turning Point Fox News influencer machine. She will be appearing on Riley Gaines's podcast. I can't believe I'm advertising for this girl. She'll be on Riley Gaines's podcast. She was already on Fox.
She's so fucking mid.
Wait, did you also know that her mother is a defense attorney for January 6th rioters?
That was what I was about to get to. She's so mid, but I feel like this is a scam because her mom defended J6 people. Her mom also looks like her name should be Karen McCarran.
Well, it also just, Turning Point is doing everything they can to try to stay relevant. So, which is interesting because they're still wrapped up in all these culture wars, but none of them are like, hey, so what's going on with this trial? And what's going on with the guy who's
going on with JD Vance?
Like, it's very interesting to me following TV USA right now. And Candace Owens, I don't know if you've seen this, like this woman's gone down like a crazy rabbit hole of conspiracy theory. It's
So our former law firm for when Trump was going to sue us for defamation, Claire Locke, they also handled the Newsmax case, the Dominion case against Fox. They're very, very good defamation attorneys. Emmanuel Macron and his wife have retained Claire Locke, and they are now ripping Candace Owens a brand new asshole.
For what?
They're tearing her 6 ways from Sunday.
Somebody in the chat just said, "Get back to me when these culture wars buy me groceries," and that's fucking hysterical.
Oh, whoa. That's a great ad.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write it down.
That's a great ad. Well, Whitney's on the call. She's going to remember because she remembers every
I
detail.
can see her backstage. She just literally took a Post-it back.
But think about it. It's like a woman's in the grocery store and her kids are in the cart and the groceries in the cart, and she gets up to the counter and she goes, "I'd like to pay with Culture War."
Oh, that's good. That's good, Rick.
I'd like
Is there a
to
button for that?
But I was told the culture. I was told the Culture War could. What? Cash, check, or credit card? What? Culture War.
Yeah. I like it. This is now a brainstorm.
Welcome to the creative team meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else can I do on this lightning round? There's so much.
I just want to speak. By the way, speaking of, somebody mentioned this in the chat. Speaking of crazy right-wing media people, aside from TPUSA and Candace Owens, 2 weeks ago, Glenn Beck from The Blaze ran a story accusing a female law enforcement officer in DC of being the pipe bomber. They ran the story. Absolutely. They did it because some online dipshit on Twitter was like, "I have performed a gait analysis of the photographs and it's this woman." Well, it turns out it was a guy. Turns out they arrested him today. I just want to say, Glenn, I hope you've enjoyed having a broadcasting empire, because she is about to take you and rip your guts out, dangle them around your neck, and drag you through the street. It's
Chef's kiss. I found out from Mike Fanone today, midday, right before our show, that it's a black guy, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "We don't make."
But he's
pipe
apparently
bombs.
like an anarchist or something. I don't fucking know.
We don't make pipe bombs, and we don't go to parades. I will stand 10 toes on business that those are things that we don't do. But I'm like, shit, he's black. Now Stephen Miller is going to basically say black people can't have pipes. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to cut us off from.
Indoor plumbing is a sign of terrorism in the black community. Stephen Miller reports.
Right.
By the way, if you want to talk about the peak of cringe, Katie Miller makes Stephen Miller look like Henry Miller. Boom! Literary circle all the way around.
Her whole podcast thing is so cringe, and she talked about people. She asked who would be good for babysitting or watching her kids, or who would you trust. Somebody asked.
Yeah, his name is Hannibal Lecter. He's safer than your husband.
I don't know. We're coming up on an hour, so I'm going to get to two things that I really want to make sure we don't have to cut from the lightning round.
They're not sad, are they?
No, they're fun. Well, one of them is fun. One of them is fun. Let's start with the fun one. This awesome screenshot of the Houthi PC small group chat where JD Vance goes, "This chat's kind of dead. Anything going on?"
Dead like his marriage.
At 2:26 a.m.
I want to talk about a universal experience for anyone who's ever been in a long-standing group chat or just has a phone. We have all had the moment where we go, I think we have to make a new group chat because this person is in it and we don't want to hang with them anymore or whatever. But it would be too awkward to kick them out. So you've made another group chat and this person is left wondering why no one's talking in the group chat anymore. That's JD Vance. JD Vance is your...
If you'd like to know why JD Vance was taken out of their group chat, it is because Marco Rubio is running for president in 2028 against JD Vance. That is what's happening. And
both of them need
he's
to
got a sort of half-assed alliance with Hegseth right now.
I also like the generous interpretation of this is that he's making a joke about like, oh, like the chat got leaked, like anything going on.
JD Vance has the capacity for humor that a sea slug has for humor.
Yeah,
he has no humor. That is the least funny human being you will ever meet.
He is not a funny guy. But also, where is Tulsi Gabbard? Because I feel like she disappeared somewhere to. I don't know.
She was singing Trump a lullaby in the cabinet meeting. You can see he's asleep while she's talking. The other thing that we wanted to mention for the lightning round this evening is this is actually one of Renee's tweets. Hi, Renee, if you're watching downstairs. So the one of Melania's Christmas trees decorating the White House has been decorated with butterflies, which is a symbol that Virginia Giuffre's family has been using to, honor survivors of sexual assault and sex trafficking. And Melania Trump has decided that they're actually for her Be Best anti-bullying campaign, which is just so apt,
And the Be Best written in Sharpie on the bulbs is also a nice touch.
Yeah. She has to know what she's doing.
And when Renee spotted that, I was like, "Holy crap! This has got to be Melania, because Melania is the queen of malicious compliance in this White House, and the queen of the passive aggressive, fuck this evil shit I'm married to. Not that she's not in the evil category, but they're different.
I think she thought he'd be dead by now. I think when she signed on to whatever she was signing on for when she married this man, I think she didn't think she'd have to deal with him for this fucking long.
Listen, when she was in that big room and all those people had the masks on and they were playing that music from Eyes Wide Shut, she thought 18 months tops.
And yet here
we all are.
I am throwing the obscure ones tonight. Sorry, folks.
There are a couple other things, but like I think my battery's out on horrible news.
It is. I'm pacing myself. I realized this year that I have like a hope optimism battery, and I didn't calibrate well, and so I ran out of steam before the holidays, and I'm like, fuck. So this is what I need everybody, because I feel like I'm not the only person who does this, we got to figure out, I said maybe we need to have like a buddy, like where we can tap in and tap out. Yeah, buddy system, because it is a lot to stay completely tapped in the entire time. So grab one of your I decided I'm not going to pay attention to the news friends or whatever, and say, hey, we're both getting involved in 2026. So rest up now. Calibrate yourself.
Tune it up. Get ready to fight.
Meditate, rest, all the things that you need to do. Because
26 and 26 and fuckery.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
We're back, baby.
Well, I'm going to go and serve dinner now that this is done, because today's meal is a white bean stew with salt pork, smoked chicken, leeks, and vegetables.
Rick, I love this. I want you to start sending me pictures of the food that you make so that we can play.
We have to collab on your food channel.
Yeah. I know. Fly up here. We can collab in my kitchen.
We need a cookbook. I definitely I feel like we need a cookbook. Why not?
I love this.
Rick is like, the book that I'm currently working on is not nearly enough. Now I will make a cookbook.
Right. Now I have to do a cookbook, because I just, what am I going to do? Not work?
Hey, food brings people together. And so we could have the entire Lincoln Project community baking and cooking different dishes, and maybe even having potlucks with neighbors. I'm bringing people together.
All right.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week.
Bye. You're all dismissed. Go home.
Bye.
Hey.